What's up, y'all? Thank you for checking out the Hospitality Strategy Lab. My name is Jason Littrell, and I have a little secret for you. I do not like making content all the time, and I don't because I kind of do the things that I want most of the time. And so the way I even it out so that I have consistent content, even though I don't like doing it, is doing it when I want to do it, which is very rare. And so when I have an idea, something that I want to talk about, then that's what I do. And then I use AI and automation to schedule and process the rest because I don't have a team of editors. It's just me. I'm the only employee in my company, and I have one guy that I work with that helps me with some of the more technical stuff. And that's about it. And so, but still, the problem remains. How do I promote my business? And this is something that a lot of my clients do have as well. And generally, I try to stick to storytelling rather than a bunch of facts and figures, because stories are much stickier than a bunch of facts and figures. And if people really love facts and figures, then I don't know. People just if you interweave the facts and figures into the story, then it kind of makes more sense. But you have to repeat it again and again and again. Anyways, I get off track sometimes. I get a little excited about when we talk about data, but so I don't like doing this, and so I do it once, maybe twice a week. Sometimes I skip a week, and here's how I do it to make it a lot easier for myself when I do feel like I want to do it. So the first thing I do is I set up a station for myself that is very low barrier to entry. So when I am in the mood, that it's really easy to do. So I flip on the light, flip over the mic, turn on the camera, and then hit record. And so all this stuff is like really set up. It's in a single place. And I would recommend that bar owners actually do this too, because restaurant owners do this too, because telling the story is a big part of what makes your place human, and telling the human story. So even if it's just you telling the story of your place, it would be even better if your staff wanted to get involved and like tell their stories and why they work with you, why they think your place is special. Maybe the chef talks about a dish and what they like about it, why it came to be, how it fits into the theme. These are all questions that people might have, but the storytelling that you have about your bar is really important, even if it's just you talking about it. And then so like what I do is I put these long form videos of me just talking kind of off the top of my head, and that goes into a long form video. And then because the engagement rate is slightly higher, although it's generally not very good on social media, generally speaking, is I will put it into a software called OneStream.live. And then OneStream, it will take that video that I've created with OBS. And OBS, I don't even know what it stands for, but it's an open source free software that I use to record. That's how I use my screen shares. It took me about 20-30 minutes to figure it out. I'm pretty tech savvy. So it probably won't take me as long as it might take you. But I hit one button and it records using this camera. And then I turn on this light manually. It's a rechargeable light. It's not even plugged in. And then I have this mic that I use that I bought from Amazon for like $50. And that's kind of what I do. But before I had all this stuff, is I just recorded on a webcam. So step one is getting all your stuff into a place where it's really easy to record. And then you just stand up and start talking. Step two, and I use OBS to record from my computer. Pretty sure there's a Mac version. I'm using a PC. This is also can be done from your phone, by the way, quite easily. And then I take that video, I load it into OneStream Live, and then once that's done, that's when I'll start to caption it and start to tell, like, again, I don't use AI for this, I will just kind of write my thoughts on what the thoughts were, just to make sure it's authentic and real. And then I schedule that to go live. And so that will go live. It'll stream live across channels like LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And I think that's it. And what it does is it says Jason is live right now, even though I'm not really live. And so that way, if I say something stupid, then I can decide not to do it or re-record. But that's never happened. Every time you've ever seen me, it's typically been in the first take. I can't remember the last time I was like, oh my God, I fucked up so bad that I'm going to re-record. I just usually just start talking. So the next thing that happens, so we've got this live video that's on the internet, that's everywhere, right? And so it just goes out there, and then very low engagement, about 3% is the average, I think, maybe even lower. And so what people see is something that's recent on your stuff. And so most people are not going to dig through to this point. They're not going to get through the first minute at least for my stuff, unless you wanted to craft this hook and this whole thing. And I don't have the patience for that. I just don't. I don't care enough. I don't love doing social media. I don't love posting all the time. I don't love creating content. I do love helping people, and I do love what the impact I have on my clients is. And so like, I'm willing to do this because even though I think it sucks a little bit, because this is what it takes to get my name out there and get my company out there and to broaden my impact. And so the next step is I'll take that same video, I'll rip the audio and turn that into a podcast, which is great for SEO. I get about 100 downloads per episode, something like that. So nothing crazy. But those 100 people really like me and I really like them. A lot of them are my clients already. So the next thing is we put the video up upload the video from the computer into what I use Minvo. Although there are quite a few other things that do this. Minvo is my editor. That's the one that puts the little captions on the video that makes it so you can see what I'm saying without the sound on, which is what happens a lot of the time. So if you don't have captions on your videos, then a lot of people who may have seen it, that small sliver of the community that may have seen it, it enables them to see it without the volume on. And so that Minvo, it creates the captions on the videos, and then chops it up into 1 minute things. So I can ramble on for hours and hours and hours. And then Minvo, or there's other ones like Opus, I think is another one. Opus is one that I use. There's a bunch of other ones now. I usually use AppSumo to find these apps. And it chops it up into little pieces that and then helps me write the captions, which I typically snip down into like a fifth of what it originally said I should say on there, adds the hashtags, and then allows me to schedule the posts over time. And so what this does is it creates consistent flow on multiple channels where there's new content all the time, but it only takes me about an hour to process it. And so like 1 hour turns into like a week of content for me. And I could go further on that. I tried to do this in the beginning where I created a whole blog post out of every video that I made. But it just got exhausting. And honestly, that as soon as I haven't exhausted my warm community of the people that already know me and like me and trust me, and started working with them. And so once I've exhausted that community and all those people that want to work with me that I know already, then I'll start to get into SEO and stuff like that. But for a bar or restaurant, the SEO is much more urgent, I would say. But there's much easier ways to attack that. So like I would typically use a service called Yext, which is we have at wholesale rates through KMS, Kinetic Management Systems, my company. But what that does is it just makes sure that your listings are correct and current on 150 different websites, and that's going to be much more valuable than just putting up a bunch of blog posts. But in the near term, I generate around 15,000 impressions a month on all channels. And that's enough for me because of the targeting that I do with the content and the way it's positioned and all that stuff. And that's fine for me. I get around 2,000 or 3,000 web hits a month, and then that converts about 1/2 to one client a month or so, which is good for me, which is fine. And then people never leave, which is good. So that's kind of my thoughts on generally speaking what my social media strategy is. And I like to eat my own dog food, and so this is what I recommend that my clients do. And it's just like, generally speaking, just tell the story. Tell the story of the dish. Tell the story of an artifact in the bar. Tell the story of where the owners came from. Tell the story of what's going on with the business. Just tell the story, because number one, nobody cares. People do not care about anything as much as they care about themselves. And so, just tell the story. If that's if you're in business, then social media is a necessary thing. If you want a lot of people to see it, then you have to pay for it. But generally speaking, most people will go on about their day. And hopefully, they see something interesting that's interesting to them. But you kind of just have to put a bunch of stuff out there over time for people to get excited about it and interested in it and eventually come in. And so this is the way that I do it, so that I don't spend a lot of time doing it. Because I don't want to spend a lot of time doing things that I don't really like. I like telling my story. I love talking about myself, but just like everybody else. But it is not the most important part of my day. All right, that's all I got for you. This has been the Hospitality Strategy Lab. My name is Jason Littrell, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.